Martin University has made a quality education accessible, and now I can fast track and finish my degree in no time.
Applicable, so I can start earning and working in my career field while finishing my degree.
And affordable by lowering tuition costs as much as 45%.
So I can earn my degree debt-free.
Register for spring classes now.
Welcome to Let's Talk Live with Martin U, the live podcast bringing much needed community conversations to the table. Let's Talk Live with Martin U is a live, exciting, and irreverent podcast that discusses community involvement, alumni successes that only Martin University can deliver. Today, I have the one and only Dr. David Brewer here with me today, and we are going to talk about all things master's programs. Thank you for joining me today.
It's my pleasure. Thanks so much, Tia.
So let's get right into who you are and what you do here at Martin University.
Sure. So I'm David Brewer. I'm the lead business faculty here at Martin. So I oversee our undergrad business programs, which includes curriculum review and new course development, along with new certificates. I do our student advising, reach out and connect with alumni, rebuild our adjunct bench. And now the main topic for today, we have a master's program in organizational leadership that I'm directing.
What does this program look like from the perspective of a student interested? What is the application process going to look like, and how long does that take for somebody that is interested?
Right. So the application process is our fairly standard application process here at Martin. You can go to martin.edu/MOL for Master's in Organizational Leadership. It requires a standard application, 3 letters of reference, professional and or academic, an essay explaining why this program is of interest, and then official transcripts. The program's intentionally been built. Some people refer to it as just a business master's, but we've intentionally called it the organizational leadership because everybody in every type of organization can learn more about leadership. And so our goal is, and the way we've structured the program, is that we would have people interested in leadership in business, but also people in the education field, the nonprofit sector, in ministry, church denomination, etc., so that together we all learn a lot more about leadership and how we can become better at being leaders.
Nice. And with a organizational leadership master's degree, what kind of jobs could somebody apply for with this background? I know you mentioned everybody can come together for this type of degree, but what kind of jobs or career paths is like what can really make them stand out with this degree?
Right. Yeah. A lot of jobs now require a bachelor's degree to do sort of frontline jobs or low-level supervisor jobs. Many organizations in all the various sectors now are looking for people with master's degrees if they want to move up to manager, director, VP, etc. And so this degree will equip them to do effective work in those areas and at those levels, and will also, as the master's degree on the resume, will also open doors to apply for positions like that. So a lot of people, I think, will be able to move up in their current organizations. Others will be able to spot opportunities in other organizations that they're interested in exploring, doors that wouldn't have been open to them without the master's degree.
Okay, and you mentioned earlier about the process for the applications to apply for this program, but I never heard a cost. Is there a cost or a fee for the application?
Great question. We do not have an application fee, and actually the program itself will not be all that expensive. A lot of people, when they think about a master's degree, they're often thinking, this is going to run me $30,000, $50,000, $100,000.
Mm-hmm.
This program will be 10 courses, so 30 credits total. So it can be finished in 1 year. That's the plan. So students starting this fall will take 2 in fall A, fall B, spring A, spring B, and finish up next summer. So in basically 10 to 11 months, you'll finish your degree for a total cost of right around $12,000. That's without any scholarships. That includes all the tuition, fees, etc.
I like that. Also, I had an interesting question. I know that we are non-traditional students here at Martin University, and I know we are kind of drifting off into like a hybrid type of style of learning. How is the learning style for this graduate program? Is it all in person, or is it some hybrid, some online? What does that look like for students?
Right. That's a great question. In doing the research for designing our program, we looked at lots of other programs, from local universities here in Central Indiana to all online programs from various places all over the country. One of the things we discovered is that almost every one of those programs is all online. So it's all asynchronous. You never go to campus. You never meet your classmates. You never meet your faculty members. And we didn't think that made a lot of sense on two levels. One, we didn't think it made a lot of sense for Martin students because one of the key things about Martin is that we're a communiversity, right? It's not just about getting the education, but it's about being part of something. And so we intentionally wanted to build a program where students had the opportunity to connect with each other and with the faculty members. That said, we didn't want to build it in such a way that students had to come to campus every week for a whole year. So what we've developed is a hybrid program. And what will happen is that the first class session of each 8-week session will be in person here on campus. So basically one Saturday every 2 months, students will come to campus. That gives them an opportunity to meet the professor who's teaching the class, get introduced to the syllabus, have some initial content exploration, but they'll also see their classmates. It's a cohort model, so all the students will be together through the entire program. So over the course of a year with 5 residencies, they'll be able to get to know each other personally, which makes online discussion boards, potential group projects, etc., much easier than trying to coordinate everything with people you don't know, who live who knows where, who have whatever kind of schedule. So that's one reason why we're intentionally building this as a hybrid program, where students have a chance to get to know each other, but also do a lot of their work asynchronously. The other reason we didn't think an all online program made sense is because this is leadership, and leadership is always done in relationship. There's always connection between leader and follower and between leader and leader. And so again, it didn't really make a lot of sense to us to think about people never seeing one another, but somehow studying leadership together.
Right.
So we really like the idea of the hybrid program that we've put together.
That's nice. When I went to graduate school, I went to University of Indianapolis, and I enjoyed being in person. It was in the evenings. It was from about 6 to 9-ish, somewhere around that. But then COVID came, and, we all had to be apart. But it made it, I'm not going to say easier, but it was more so better understanding from my peers because you're learning from one another. And that was basically the way that our professors was teaching us, was we're teaching each other. So we'd all take a subject or a chapter in a book and we teach that lesson. And I feel like you grasp more information and you remember it more when it's from somebody sitting right next to you compared to standing in front of you. And that definitely made a difference compared to just being online. It was kind of like repetitive, and we're already working our 9 to 5s, and then we have to at home, and then we have to still sit down at home and learning all this other stuff. And it did take away a lot of the written assignments, I would say, being online compared to in person, because it's conversational and you're going to take your notes and you're going to learn better just by conversations compared to read this chapter, do this discussion post, take this test, and on to the next chapter. So I really enjoy seeing that you all are making it a hybrid course, especially with leadership. What are some of the courses within this? I know you said there's 10 classes total for the program, but what are some of the courses that you're excited about for this program?
Right. Well, I'm excited about all of the classes, but I will limit my discussion here to just 2 or 3. So the first course that students will take in our Masters of Organizational Leadership program is a course called Followership. And I am really excited about that. Again, I looked at lots of different programs from competitors, and nobody has this class. But I think it's so critical before we jump into thinking about who am I as a leader and how can I lead well and what do I do and what. Okay, well, but what is a follower, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we want to lead, we need to understand what is a follower, generally speaking, what makes an effective follower, what are the different types of followers, and then how do I lead those different types of followers well? So that's the first course. I'm very excited about that one. A second class I'm very excited about is we have a class called Data Analysis, Assessment, and Decision Making, right? Analytics are huge nowadays. There's all sorts of data out there. And so this course will help students explore like, okay, what data is out there? How do I get it? What do I do once I have it to understand the data? And then how do I make decisions based on that?
Right.
Which is going to be so critical for organizational leaders. And I think a third class I'm really excited for is Leading Organizational Change class. I mean, anybody in any organization needs to understand how change works. What do I do that can help bring down some of the resistance, right? A lot of people hate change.
Right.
So if I can understand why do they hate change, and then how do I introduce it? How do I help people walk through that on a personal level, but then also organizationally? If I want to change, I want to roll out a new process. We're getting new technology systems. There's a new product or service we want to offer. Those are all really big changes. And so I think this class is going to be really, really helpful in a practical way for people, right? This master's program is not a purely theoretical, let's understand these concepts of leadership. We'll talk about those things because we need that context. But every class is going to be focusing on, okay, so what? What do you do with that? Now that you understand those things, how do you apply that to your current organizational context? Which could be your job, ideally, it includes your job, but could also be the religious institution you attend. It could also be the community groups that you volunteer with, neighborhood groups or nonprofits that you're associated with. So it should, again, the program should have practical application and really helpful information for people across all the different aspects of their lives.
I love that. That sounds exciting. You're almost selling it to me, even though I'm done. I'm done with school, but I don't know.
Come on.
Tell me, a year of my time. I've
Right.
been in school way longer than that. The price is decent. It'll stop my student loans.
Right. Yeah. And I think there will be a lot of different reasons that people, some people will come just because they've always wanted to have a master's degree or because they want to become better leaders themselves. They don't maybe have a specific job application in mind for it, although I'm sure that will come. And then other people I think are going to be like, you know what, I've experienced really good leadership and I want to learn, how did they do that? And of course, other people will think, wow, I've been around some really bad leaders and why are they doing that? And how could I avoid those issues, right? That's what prompted me initially to get my graduate degree was I had experiences of great leaders and managers and terrible leaders and managers. And I thought, okay, I want to learn how to do this well so other people aren't thinking of me as one of these terrible leaders. And I think that's one of the things our students will get from this is the ability to understand themselves. And then again, that practical application to be effective, healthy, and helpful leaders in their organizations.
Is there a deadline for these applications for people to apply to be a part of this program?
Great question. It's a rolling admission process. So we are reviewing applications as they come in, and that will be the case on an ongoing basis. Our first cohort launches in mid-August 2023, this fall. So right now we're receiving applications for that. There is, because it's a cohort model, we're limiting the size of the cohort to no more than 25 students. So if at some point we have 25 people admitted to the program, then we will cut off admissions for this cohort and look at the next cohort, which will launch in spring B of 2024. So about every 6 months, we'll continue to launch these cohorts. So if somebody really wants to get in on this first cohort, which I think will be a really exciting time, being part of something new and historic for Martin University, then I think they should get. I should let you know we're recording this on Tuesday, May 16th, and we have 6 applicants already in, and I know of 4 others who have already told me they're going to fill their applications this week. So that would put us about 40% full for this cohort already, and we've only been taking applications for about 2 weeks. So if somebody wants to get into this first cohort, I'd recommend not waiting. If you're not sure if you want to be in this first cohort, I'd say submit the application, start the process. And then if it turns out that you need to wait for whatever reason, we could do that. But get your seats early because they're going fast.
So this is something that starts every fall semester. It's not like you can start it in the spring or spring B, things like that. You have to start in August.
So we'll start our first cohort this August. We've heard I've heard from more than 60 different people that they want to join this program. Not all 60 will probably apply for this first cohort, but our guess is that we will have enough applicants that want to get in that we will be able to start a second cohort in the spring, assuming that we have sufficient enrollment, right? But again, if you want to be in the first cohort, you'll want to get your application in fairly quickly to make sure you're part of that first 25 before we hit our cut.
Yeah, I definitely agree, because when I was in grad school, I was a part of a cohort for public relations. It was the first year for UND to bring that for a graduate program, and we did not have 20 people. We didn't even have 15. It was maybe like 10 of us that was able to get in, because they're trying to figure out the ways of what works and what doesn't work. And it's not necessarily a guinea pig type of thing, but this is new for everybody. And I really enjoyed being a part of the cohort, because it was like with the program directors, with the professors, we're all learning together what we can do, especially going into it. And we're in COVID too. So it was just like a lot of adjustment, but it also prepared them to, for what's to come or what could happen. Like, nobody thought of a pandemic coming in the middle of a cohort. Sure. So it was all about adapting. But I definitely suggest everybody that is interested in the program to join, because being in a cohort, you are learning together, and you can like bounce ideas off of one another, and you can inspire a professor to take a different route, or if this is really working, then he'll instill that and make sure that this is exactly what the next group does. So definitely take into that. There is an open house this Saturday. Do you know what time, Dr. Brewer? What time the open house is?
I don't. Sorry.
We'll go with be there at 10. Let's just say 10 o'clock to get there on a Saturday. And it is for people that are new to the school or interested in enrolling, but this does not limit people for graduate programs. I'm sure that there are somebody there that can answer any questions that you have about the graduate program, how to apply, and things of all that good stuff.
Right.
Dr. Brewer, do you have anything else you'd like to share, or how somebody can contact you or your department with further questions?
Yeah. So if you're interested in applying, like I said, martin.edu/MOL, and that'll put you in touch with our admissions and enrollment team. If you have questions about the program that aren't answered on the website, or you just want to talk it through a little bit and figure out, is this the right fit for me? Is this a direction I should go? I am happy to have those conversations. I promise I don't do a hard sell. My goal is to help you get where you want to go as a prospective student. And so you can contact me at dbrewer@martin.edu. That's BREWER, dbrewer@martin.edu. You can also contact me on my cell. I prefer text rather than phone calls, 503-422-1736. I'm happy to talk to you about anything related to the programs.
Nice. Well, that is all the time that we have. I thank you so much, Dr. Brewer, for joining us on Let's Talk Live with Martin Yu, sharing your expertise and everything about the Organizational Leadership Master's Program. I do appreciate that. Make sure you apply if you're interested, because spots are very, very limited. So please take advantage of this, especially the price. In this economy, please take advantage of this. That is all that I have for you guys. I will see you next week, same place, same time, right here on Let's Talk Live with Martin. Bye.
Next time. Bye.
Martin University has made a quality education accessible, and now I can fast track and finish my degree in no time.
Applicable, so I can start earning and working in my career field while finishing my degree.
And affordable by lowering tuition costs as much as 45%.
So I can earn my degree debt-free.
Register for spring classes now.